On your left.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be a bit of a sad video because Chadwick Boseman has passed away. A lot of you asked me to make a video about it, explain what happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate the earnings from this YouTube video to a cancer charity like F Cancer. I don't have any kind of fundraiser or anything special like that set up. This is just a really sad, really sudden announcement that they made that he had passed away from cancer. So if you yourself or you know someone who's suffering from something similar and you want to do that, just please donate to a charity of your own choosing. But if you're not sure what happened, you're still in shock, Chadwick Boseman's official Twitter account through his family announced last night that he had passed away after a long battle the past 4 years with stage 4 cancer. Apparently, he'd been keeping his diagnosis secret from the public, but he'd been making all these movies so long. This is his IMDb page from the last 4 years, while he knew that he had been suffering from cancer, going through treatments between movies. That means while he was working on the Captain America Civil War movie, while he was working on Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, between all those movies, he was suffering from cancer, going through crazy surgeries, not letting anyone know. That's how much he endured and how hardcore he was. So back in 2014, Marvel first announced him on stage as Black Panther for Captain America Civil War. That movie didn't happen until 2016, obviously, but during 2016 is when he discovered that he had stage 3 cancer. Then for the next 4 years, he proceeded to go through a number of treatments, a bunch of really hardcore surgery while they were working on the Black Panther movie. So that was going on while he was going through all of this. And then obviously we just had Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And even though he looked really good during those movies, apparently things had just gotten worse recently this year. So earlier this year, he had posted a video of himself looking very thin, unhealthy. People were afraid. They didn't know what was going on. Everyone was freaking out. Now we have a little more information about what was happening around that time. So, of course, Marvel, Kevin Feige, some of the big people that knew him, his friends and family, have issued statements. This is what Kevin Feige's statement was. He says, Chadwick's passing is absolutely devastating. He was our T'Challa, our Black Panther, and our dear friend. Each time he stepped on set, he radiated charisma and joy, and each time he appeared on screen, he created something truly indelible. He embodied a lot of amazing people in his work, and nobody was better at bringing great men to life. He was as smart and kind and powerful and strong as any person he portrayed. Now he takes his place alongside them as an icon for the ages. The Marvel Studios family deeply mourns his loss, and we are grieving tonight with his family. The Disney CEO, obviously the Russo brothers, who had done a lot of work with him, also issued statements that were similar. Personally, in my own life, my mother is actually a cancer survivor, so I had to go through something similar with my family. It's never easy when something like this happens, especially watching someone suffer through something like that for so long, because it's not something that's quick. It takes a long time. This is actually a video clip of him talking about working with stage 3 cancer patients, little kids, before the Black Panther movie came out and what it meant to him while he himself was suffering from stage 3 cancer.
Throughout our filming, I was communicating with them, knowing that they were both terminal. And what they said to me is, and their parents said, they're trying to hold on till this movie comes. And to a certain degree, you hear them say that and you're like, wow, that's like, I gotta get up and go to the gym. I gotta get up and go to work. You know, I gotta learn these lines. I gotta work on this accent. You know, seeing how devoted all of my castmates are, and knowing that will be something meaningful to them. But it's, to a certain degree, it's a humbling experience, because you're like, this can't mean that much to them, you know. But seeing how the world has taken us on, seeing how the movement is, how it's taken on a life of its own, I realized that they anticipated something great. And I think back now to a kid, and just, you know, waiting for Christmas to come, waiting for my birthday to come, waiting for a toy that I was going to get a chance to experience, or a video game. I did live life waiting for those moments. And so it put me back in the mind of being a kid, just to experience those two little boys, anticipation of this movie. And when I found out that they yeah, it means a lot.
So listening to him talk about that, what it meant to him, you just have to imagine how hard he was fighting for himself and for those little kids while this was all going on. So for those of you asking, yes, Marvel did know about his diagnosis when they were making all those movies. It would have been impossible for him to hide it from everyone. And as for the reason why he didn't make it public, it's probably just because he didn't want to be pigeonholed. Typically when someone announces something like that, that's the only way they get portrayed in the media. And he probably didn't want to overshadow the weight of what he was doing or color people's perception of him. Think about all the little kids that idealize Black Panther. He probably didn't want to take that away from them. I get that a lot of you are still in shock and you're asking all kinds of questions about the upcoming Marvel movies, Black Panther 2, Avengers 5. How are they going to honor his memory without doing something distasteful in those upcoming movies? I think it's a little crass to just immediately start thinking about what's going to happen to Black Panther 2 right now. Obviously, the world has to mourn. We have to process this. You can't start thinking about all those movies right away. But typically what Disney and Marvel does when someone passes away like this, they do have some way of memorializing them in upcoming movies. For instance, when Stan Lee passed away, you probably remember that they had this special Marvel movie intro featuring all of his cameo characters instead of the regular Marvel characters from the intro. As of me posting this video, Ryan Coogler hasn't issued any kind of statement on his passing or any kind of memorial, but he doesn't really have social media accounts, so it's probably going to be a while before he says something. He was very close to him, so just like everyone else, he's probably still in shock right now, trying to process what just happened. I think the best thing you can do right now is just remember how important he was as a person, the characters that he played. He wasn't just in Marvel movies, he made a lot of other movies about famous people. But if you are a big Marvel fan, just remember how important he was as a person and as a character within the universe, how important the Black Panther film was to pop culture. This is him talking about the importance of the film in the world itself and how important it was for him to get this character right and what he felt like it meant to the world.
I mean, we've had Wesley Snipes before, so I gotta give
Marvel.
him.
I should say Marvel.
Credit.
Right. Yeah.
Get him credit. But on this stage, and definitively a superhero in this way, it is a new concept. It's the whole cast, and it's the fact that it's this big. Yeah, it is like a sea change moment.
I do love that he totally gives a shout out to Wesley Snipes' Blade, talking about the first big African-American superhero in the Marvel universe, because Blade is a Marvel movie, even though it was made by New Line instead of Marvel Studios at the time. So I think we're all in agreement that we can say with confidence that no, Marvel is not going to recast the role of T'Challa. That would be the biggest slap in the face to his memory in real life, to the fans, to his family. If they decide to continue with the Black Panther 2 movie, it would be more likely that Shuri would take the mantle of Black Panther like she does in the comics, and they find some legit way for the movie to reference what happened to him in real life without being distasteful about it. The right story to honor his legacy as a person and as a character. So everyone just post your favorite memories of him in the comments, what he meant to you, what the character meant to you, and please stay healthy. 2020 has already taken so much from us. It does not need to take any more. There is a lot of Marvel stuff happening later this year. Maybe they'll issue some more statements about what's going on. So if they do, of course I'll do a video about that explaining. Long before this had happened, of course I'd already done a couple Black Panther 2 videos about Easter eggs and teasers and what Marvel had already set up. You can click here if you want to learn about that, and you can click here for my Marvel New Mutants movie review. So thank you so much for watching everyone, stay safe, and Wakanda forever.